Hello and welcome to the Ramblings of a 42-Year-Old Man. Chris Smith here again with David. And we are going to continue day 2 of our final NFL mock draft for the 2023 draft.
Yep.
That is starting on Thursday. So we are going to go through picks number 13 through, let's say, 23. Let's do 11 picks? Let's do 11 picks today.
Right.
And then tomorrow, before the draft, we'll do the last 10 because we'll go all the way up to 33.
And then we'll be filming our reactions to the draft. It won't be a live stream. It will be a video.
Probably, yeah.
So you'll probably see that on Friday.
So with that, we will go ahead and dig in. We left off, let's see, last pick was the Texans at 12. So that's going to take us to Green Bay, who just traded up with the Jets on this for this pick from 15 up to 13. So Green Bay's on the clock. All right, so on the clock, Green Bay at number 13. They were at 15 up until just a few days ago when they did the Aaron Rodgers trade, and they bumped up a couple spots with the Jets. And pretty much, they need weapons. They
need anybody.
They got, Watkins is up there now. He did a pretty good year, but...
you mean Watson?
Did I say Watkins? Yes, Watson. Any other weapons they can get? So I've had kind of tight end circled here for a long time, but getting up to 13, seeing... Well, we had 11, I think I had a receiver come off. 12, I did not because the Texans took Anthony Richardson, which means who I think is actually the best overall receiver in the draft is still here. And so I am going to have Green Bay taking Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State.
All right. I picked him at Houston at number 12. So now at number 13, Green Bay. In the past couple mock drafts, this guy's kind of been flowing up the board for me and Chris. Or my dad, I should say. You guys know him as Chris. I know him my dad.
Yep.
So, at number 13, I have a guy from, maybe not a school much people know, Boston College. So, wide receiver Zay Flowers.
Yep, he is flying up people's draft boards. He was not what I would consider the top receiver until recently. Now people have him going pretty high. So I think I already have him off the board at this point to Tennessee. So
yeah, I had Jordan Addison.
Yeah, we did a little bit of a swap with the receivers there, but good pick. Yeah, we both have Green Bay getting a receiver there, adding weapons for their new starting quarterback, Jordan Love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's going to jump us down into pick number 14, which is New England. And with New England's one of those ones 90% sure they will trade back because that's just what New England does.
Maybe like Pittsburgh.
I think if Pittsburgh would be a good option here.
If Joey Porter was still available, they'd try to.
And that's the thing. Or somebody like...
maybe like Washington.
Like Washington, something like that, try to get one of the offensive tackles. That being said, I think New England themselves actually needs an offensive tackle. So I have at pick number 14 here, the Patriots going with Paris Johnson, Jr.
Ding, 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 ding. Same pick here. Offensive tackle, Ohio State. Really good. Was considered the top offensive lineman in your draft for a couple, but then you went to Peter Skoronski. I've always been a Peter Skoronski guy. But Paris Johnson Jr. definitely a good tackle. I think he's definitely going to stay at tackle, unlike Skoronski, who could play at guard.
Yeah, he's definitely more pure just tackle, which is one of the reasons I have Skoronski higher is just the versatility, being able to play anywhere on the line. But
and I'm correct, you drafted him to the Bears.
Yep.
So you kind of need that guard, too.
Yep. So that's 14. That's New England, which is going to wrap us into pick number 15.
New York Jets.
New York Jets.
They just got their new QB.
They just swapped back from 13 to 15, got a new quarterback, got an old quarterback. Can't say Aaron Rodgers is as mobile as he used to be. So, you know what? Let's beef up that line in front of him. New England just took Paris Johnson, so we can't go that route anymore. But I have Broderick Jones penciled in here, the next offensive tackle on my rankings. And I think that, honestly, Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski are kind of mix and match on who could be the top 3. So I don't think Washington would be too upset with this, but it would definitely, I'm sorry, not Washington, Jets would be too upset with this, but they would be able to hopefully get Aaron Rodgers some better protection.
Ding, 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 ding,
doubled up again.
Ding. I also got Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia. Yeah, you said it was mix and match. I definitely think he's the third best tackle or offensive lineman overall. I definitely think that Peter Skronsky and Paris Johnson Jr. are the first two off the board, and then he is the 3. And I think that New York Jets will be ecstatic with this pick. Trading back 2, getting Aaron Rodgers, and getting an offensive lineman.
Yep. I think so. All right, that's the first 3 of these day 2 picks that we're doing. So we'll pause here real quick, and then we'll come back with pick number 16.
16, Washington.
Keep me on track. All right, so we are back with pick number 16, which is the Washington, what are they called now? Commanders?
Commanders.
Much better than the Washington football teams.
And the Washington Redskins.
Yes. So pick number 16, I think Washington is another one of those that could go a number of ways, but I think get some help out on that defense. This is one of the reasons I think that Pittsburgh would love to trade up, possibly with the New England or somebody, because I think they would love to have this guy, Joey Porter Jr. His father, Joey Porter, played with the Steelers for a long time. But I have them getting taken here with the Washington Commanders, cornerback out of Penn State, and try to shore up that secondary in Washington.
Ding, 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 ding. 3 picks in a row.
Hey, like we live together or something.
Joey Porter Jr., cornerback out of Penn State. In some of my mock drafts earlier in the year, I had him going at number 10, but then Christian Gonzalez came up the draft board. So I have him falling back to number 16. I think it would be a great pick here if Joey Porter Jr. goes to number 16. Washington needs a corner. They tried William Jackson and that failed. Now, who's their best corner? I don't even know.
All right, so that's Washington at 16. We both got Joey Porter Jr. going there. So pick number 17, which is
Pittsburgh.
They just missed out on Joey Porter, unfortunately, but Pittsburgh has a
offensive line.
They need some offensive line help. Then they got Kenny Pickett last year. Whether they think he's the man or not, they need to give him a chance. They need to give him some protection. We've had a number of tackles already fly off the boards. The top 3 have already gone, but I think you've seen this guy. I've seen this guy rising up a lot of mock drafts and ranking boards really quickly. So this is Darnell Wright. He's the tackle out of Tennessee, and I have him going here at number 17 to Pittsburgh.
All right, so this is not a ding. So this, I've also heard of Darnell Wright flying up mock draft boards. This guy also has 2, but maybe it stayed for a little longer. I was between this guy and Darnell Wright, but I think this guy is probably an overall better fit for Pittsburgh. So, number 17, I'm going to pick Oklahoma offensive tackle Anson Harrison.
Both going tackle, just some different names. Awesome. Well, that's Pittsburgh. That's 17. That takes us to 18. And who is 18? I don't even remember who 18 is. Detroit is on the clock again. All right, so I had Detroit earlier grabbing Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, because they need to shore up that corner spot. So here, sitting there at 18, I have them looking at defense still, but on the front line side. So I have them going defensive tackle. I have them going Khalija Kancey, who had a heck of a combine and has really flown up a lot of boards. I think a lot of people had him penciled in near the end of the first round to like a Kansas City, but I don't know that he's going to make it that far at this point. So I have him slotted right here at pick number 18 to Detroit.
All right. I had this pick locked in for so long, but then I started been proving it wrong, and I started changing it, but then nope, I get taken right back to it because I think I've been with this guy at Detroit a long time. Since my first mock draft, actually, near the beginning of the year. It is a safety from Bama, someone named Brian Branch.
There you go. Brian Branch, safety Alabama.
I love this guy since he started playing this year. I think Detroit also needs someone else to be on the secondary with they got Devin Witherspoon. We both agreed on that. And a lot of safety help. So that will cause secondary to be really good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's pick number 17. That was Detroit. I'm sorry, pick number...
That was 18.
Detroit. We're going to pause here and come back with our next 3 picks. All right, so we are back, and we are looking at Tampa Bay sitting here at pick number 19. I think Tampa's got quite a few holes they can fill. Not the least of what is probably quarterback, but I think they brought Baker Mayfield in. I could see them giving him a shot. They got Kyle Trask back there who, maybe he gets a chance to see something.
He's sat behind Tom Brady.
So I don't necessarily have them looking at quarterback this high, but I do think that their secondary has been suspect the last couple years. They've had a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries at the corner, but also their safety position could use some pumping up. So you had Brian Branch going with the last pick. I have Brian Branch going here, the safety Alabama, going over here to Tampa to help shore up that secondary for them.
Alright, this pick was kind of hard for me. Like, do I pick a quarterback in Hendon Hooker? Do I pick an offensive lineman? I still have Darnell Wright available. Maybe go crazy. Maybe get a defensive end. Maybe a linebacker, because that linebacker group's getting old.
Yep.
But I said this guy's name just a few seconds ago. Darnell Wright is still available, so I'm going to pick him here at 19.
There we go. Awesome. Darnell Wright, yeah, good pick to shore up the offensive line for there. All right, that gets us to pick 20, and at 20 we've got Seattle again. So on the board, they were earlier, they took Jalen Carter at number 5. I believe that was what both of us had them going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here at number 20, I've got Seattle still looking at defense, still shoring up, trying to get that what they used to call themselves, the wrecking crew.
Legion of
That's
Doom.
A&M, the Legion of Doom. See if they can
No,
get it back
Legion of
again.
Boom.
Legion of Boom. There you go. See if they can get that back again. I got them going with Nolan Smith, outside linebacker out of Georgia. He also had a really awesome combine and very super athletic. He might be one of the more athletic edges coming out in this draft. Put him on Seattle with the way that defense is run. Get him behind Jalen Carter. Get them short up the middle of that D. I mean, that's looking pretty good.
Let me wear this real quickly.
Yeah.
Alright. This guy, that hasn't been picked on both of ours, I think. This is kind of unfair at this point. Seattle already has DK Metcalf, Taylor Lockett, but Tyler Lockett's getting old, so I'm giving him another wide receiver. And guess who's still on the board? The TCU wide receiver, Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, I like that pick. I like that player. I would love him to drop a little further so the Texans could look at him. But
Doubt it.
yep, it'd be a lot to get him down there, but we'll see. All right, Quentin Johnson. We got Johnston. There's a T in there. Yeah, there's a T in there. All right, so that's our picks for Seattle. That gets us down to pick number 21. It's the LA Chargers. It's another one that is kind of like, should they go receiver to get some receiver help? Should they do some offensive line to fix that up? I have got them looking at receiver, just like I said. I've got Jordan Addison fell here for me. So I know you have him going a lot earlier, but I still have him sitting here, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think that he would go any further than this. I think looking at the LA Chargers, yes, they got Keenan Allen. Yeah, they got Mike Williams. Both those guys get hurt all the time. They're also getting a little bit older, so let's get some fresh blood in there. Hopefully can stay healthy. And, I have Jordan Addison in there.
All right. I've had this guy locked in since my first mock draft this year. LA Chargers, give me Nolan Smith. Defensive end, or outside linebacker, whoever you want him to be.
Depends on the defense you're doing. If you're doing a 4-3, he'll probably have his hand down on the defensive line. But if you're doing a 3-4, he'll definitely be coming out around the edges on outside linebacker.
He's great at both.
Yep.
Very athletic. So I think this is probably the best pick for the LA Chargers. Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Always get injured. Khalil Mack. I barely heard his name last season. So I think this is going to be a good pick.
Hey, anything you can do to help the rotation on the defensive line is always a good idea. All right, that was our next 3. We got let's do 2 more. We'll come back with 2 more picks and we'll round out our day 2 and
Baltimore and Minnesota.
We'll stop there and we'll continue on with the next day. So 1 second, we'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we are looking at our last 2 picks for today, and we're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens, who are sitting here at number 22. 22? Yeah, 22. Baltimore is another one of those teams. I think they're very similar to New England. They got Ozzie Newsome out there, who is known for trading around, moving around, and always seems to grab really good players, even if you don't necessarily think that they are that great when they make the pick. They always seem to turn out that way. That being said, this is going to be a name that is made to be a Raven, I think. The Miles Murphy, defensive end. I think you put a stud like that on that defense, and I think Baltimore's looking pretty good on defense. They've come down a little bit in recent years on that defense. They got Kyle Hamilton last year. He's really going to help that secondary, but now get some help on that defensive line.
All right. So this isn't a ding, but I might keep saying that even though it sounds completely wrong. All right, I have Baltimore getting a defensive end, not Miles Murphy, who's the best available in my opinion so far. Give me an Iowa Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah, it's still going on the defensive end side, but I think Lucas Van Ness might be a little bit more quick, a little bit quicker than Miles Murphy, a little more speed. I think Miles Murphy a little more power rushing probably, but I think Baltimore can go wrong with either of those guys. Definitely.
All right, Minnesota, last pick of the video.
All right.
I think we might.
We doubled up on this one, so I'll let David go for it. Who you got the Vikings taking here at number 23?
I got talked into doing this very much
I didn't talk you into it.
because I saw your mock.
You just saw my mock and said, "Oh, okay."
All right, it is a QB. Not gonna say their name yet. 25 years old. It is. Their initials are HH. Hendon Hooker. Quarterback out of Tennessee. I was probably giving him to Tampa Bay, but then Darnell Wright was available.
Yep. I think Hendon Hooker is. I think this is as high as I could see him going. I think he really should be a day 2 pick, but
They're gonna come out earlier.
I think he's going to come off the board earlier than we think, and I do think that Minnesota is kind of tired of the ceiling that
That Kirk Cousins
has. You know, Kirk Cousins is what was they called Derek Carr the other day? He's a upper
Journeyman.
middle quarterback.
Oh yeah, upper middle.
Which is good enough to get you through some things, but is not good enough to get you over the finish line. I think they are tired of that ceiling. So bringing in the Hendon Hooker, give him maybe a year behind Cousins, and they move on and let him start being the starter. Hopefully they can get that over that hump because Kirk Cousins just hasn't been able to do it.
One of the problems with Hendon Hooker is he's 25 years old, so we'll see how that goes. He's also has a torn ACL.
That's why I think a year learning from Kirk Cousins will not be a bad thing for him.
Yeah, because he's probably not going to be able to play in the first year a lot.
Yeah. All right, so that's our day 2 selections. Well, not day 2. I mean, it's day 1 of the draft, but it's our day 2 of this mock.
Not even day 1 of this draft.
Yeah. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow is day 1 of the draft, but we will have our video of picks 24 through 33 up before the draft if anybody's wanted to see that, and then we'll definitely have some videos of the draft itself and us watching it and reacting to some of the picks.
Number 1, number 2, mostly. Maybe
Possibly we could post that late in the night Thursday if we want. Otherwise, we'll get up there by Friday morning. But be on the lookout for that. It's definitely, if you follow me for football, you're having a great week. If you follow me for anything else, sorry, you're going to be seeing a lot of football in the next few days.
Yeah, especially this team.
Yep. Thank you for listening and watching as always, and we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.